Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. The FBI is permanently closing FOIA request access into records about the notorious Boston gangster Whitey Bulger. He was killed back in 2018 at the age of 89 after getting jumped by two fellow inmates at a prison in West Virginia. It's kind of strange that law enforcement is saying they can't release any more files about this case, despite him having been dead for the better part of a decade, because they say some of the records are still being utilized for pending investigations, which could be jeopardized should the information be released prematurely. Other analysts, though, aren't too sure about that excuse. Friend of the show, Dr. J. Michael Waller, a senior analyst for strategy at the Center for Security Policy and the author of the new book, Big Intel, How the CIA and FBI Went from Cold War Heroes to Deep State Villains, mused that it might have something more to do with the fact that the Bulger files are chock full of raw information detailing the level of corruption between the city's murderous organized crime figures and the FBI itself. And not just the FBI. Remember that Bulger was an unwitting patient of the CIA's Operation MKUltra back in the day too. Our next guest tonight also has this to add. He wonders aloud, quote, "Considering the connection between the Bidens and the Bulgers, you have to wonder who they are protecting," end quote. Joining us now to discuss is national security researcher John Rosamondo. John, thanks for being here tonight. Explain for us this connection you posted about between the Bidens and the Whitey Bulger.
Well, if you look at Hunter Biden's laptop, you'll see that Bulger's nephew, Jimmy Bulger, was one of Hunter's business partners involved in his effort to court front groups for Chinese military intelligence, like the People's Liberation Army and so forth. You have to wonder, how the heck did Hunter Biden get connected with the Bulgers anyways? I mean, one of Hunter's emails, he says, wishes, regards for all the Bulgers. I'm not going to say that, that could be a reason why this is being held up. But, getting to what Mike Waller, is a good friend of ours, had to say is that Bulger was an informant for the FBI. And he ended up, getting a lot of crooked FBI agents in the Boston field office involved in criminal activities, like I believe it was John Connolly, who was his main handler back in like the 80s, ended up, being convicted of criminal activity. So I think that a lot of it could be very embarrassing to the FBI if it gets out.
Oh, definitely. And, as we were talking about with the Hunter Biden connection, I didn't realize that he had some connection to, I guess, Whitey Bulger's nephew, I believe you said. So that is very interesting. And I know, I'm sure you probably saw Mike Benz. He put out that video maybe just the other week. It was actually when we had you on last. So, yeah, last Friday then. And he was talking about Hunter Biden and, his sugar brother, I guess they call him Morris, last name Morris, and how there's some connections with the CIA. Not saying that Hunter Biden's some great mastermind or whatever, but that perhaps, some of these people that he's been, rolling with and hanging out with and doing business with, that, they seem to have their own links to intel. And a lot of these intel agencies for many decades, of course, the rumors, and sometimes they're a little more than rumors, the idea is that a lot of these, CIA and FBI guys, they have links and traffic, have, I guess, partnerships, links, I don't know exactly which word you'd like to use, but with a lot of criminal organized rings, right? So does this, what you were talking about earlier with Bulger and Hunter and the rest, does it kind of lend more credibility to that idea?
Well, I mean, it's not just something that's not documented. I mean, back during Iran-Contra, you had the CIA involved in, or the FBI involved in trafficking cocaine into Los Angeles. One of the problems that you have with these organizations is they're unaccountable to anyone. And also, they end up giving some of their people the idea that they're above the law. They can't do anything. I mean, if you have the national security exemption for testifying, you can't be brought in for a trial. You can't be held accountable